Hello and welcome to the Undateable Me podcast. I am your host, the undateable Jimmy Lee Lard, the Sock Snob, and this is another episode of our weekly show that deals with the struggles of relationships and dating. But we don't just focus on the problems around these parts. This is a journey to find solutions, and we do so in an entertaining and vulnerable way. Entertaining because, once again, Holly has her tatas out. All right.
Then pop the button already.
All right. In today's episode, we are discussing 5 tips. 5 tips for dating as you get older. Are you struggling to find love in your 30s, 40s, and 50s? Let's go.
I see you hanging around, but I don't have much to say to you. Don't know what you're waiting for. Guess you think I'm playing with you. Ever since you walked out my door, I changed the locks on me. There ain't nobody getting I'm doing fine by myself, and I like it. I've been doing things by myself. You should try it. When we was together, I'll admit you had me gone. Now I'm by myself, and it feels good to be alone. Come on. Don't wanna be with you, but I'm gonna be okay. I kinda like myself. I kinda like myself. Don't wanna be with you, but I'm gonna be okay. I kinda like myself. I kinda like myself.
On there? Oh, that was just yours.
You said what?
Did you hear my vocals on there too?
No. All right, welcome to our newest episode of the Undateable Me podcast. Holly and I are talking about something very serious. Very, very serious. Geriatric dating. Okay, maybe not quite geriatric, but it feels that way. I am 47 years old.
Really?
Yeah, I just turned 47 a couple weeks ago. And dating gets a little bit more challenging, it seems.
How so?
As once you start moving out of those early 30s, I think, is when things start to change. You know, you want different things out of life than you wanted when you were 25 and
Right.
30. You have new boundaries because what I'm not going to do.
Because what I what?
Because what I'm not going to do, there's a lot of that begins to happen. And you're more established. And you would think that being more established would be better and improve dating, but it seems to add challenges. And we've talked about before how, maybe someone is intimidated by the things you've accomplished at this point in your life,
Right.
and so on. So there are a lot of factors when it comes down to dating. I mean, and just generally speaking, like I said, when you were 24, 25, you were on something completely different.
Whole nother planet.
I would imagine that your idea of a date night has changed from the time you were 19, 20, 21.
Very much.
What'd you say last time before? Oh, he got a car? He gonna get a bottle of Amsterdam? So,
We're going to ride down 290 to the Lakeshore Drive late night ride.
Okay, Buckingham Fountain.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then you reach a point where that's not enough, or you're just not interested in that thing. So I kind of want to explore that because I'm not alone in this, but we have a lot of people that fall into that group, right? 30s, 40s, 50s. And if you have not already secured your person like you have, then you out here in these streets, the good ones already taken, the semi-good ones, you just don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I've sent you some of my dating options as they make themselves available to me. And I just look and I sometimes just shake my head, So It is what it is. So we want to kind of talk about, like I said, this is a journey for solutions, right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about ways that we can handle dating in those 30s, 40s, and 50s. So there are 5 tips when it comes down to dating as you are getting older. Tip number 1, be realistic.
Very much.
Be realistic. So we have to understand that people will not meet all of your needs. People are not, you're not, well, you could, you could find somebody that just ticks every box. He's tall, he's successful, he has this, he has that, and the two of you both enjoy doing this or whatever, right? But then sometimes as you're going down that list, maybe he didn't check this box, or maybe she didn't check this box or whatever. So you have to understand that one person is not going to necessarily meet every single need that you have. And that's putting a lot on one person.
So what do you think should be, like, maybe give us some like basic things people should look for?
Well, no. Well, the reason I say no is because that's going to be different for every person, right? So what's important to you may not be important to me, and vice versa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, rather than talking about specific things that would be, that you should look for, it's just how much.
Qualities of a person.
If they can meet 75, 80% of your needs, you should be able to deal with the 20 or 25 that you weren't looking for, or it's a trait you're like,
Because we're not perfect ourselves, so who are we to be like?
Not at all.
Right.
Everybody's ass points to the ground and shit's brown. That's what they tell me. Sometimes other colors, depending on what you ate,
Mm-hmm.
But again, everybody's not going to meet every one of your needs. And then be realistic in a practical sense. If you are expecting that when you walk out your door, you're going to come across this guy who is a millionaire who's going to scoop your broke ass up out of the hood and whatever, can it happen? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was probably at a Diddy party. So just know that, some things come with some built-in issues attached to them, right? But, like I said, I just want to make sure that we are being realistic in our expectations, and apply that to yourself, because sometimes we'll wait until we have everything just right. And that's not healthy either. So, go ahead, take a chance. You may not yet be in your career position, but what happens if it takes 5-10 years for you to get there?
Right.
You may not have the perfect car, the perfect house, or whatever. So not only do we have to be realistic about the expectations of that other person, but you have to be realistic about yourself as well.
Right.
So that would be my very first tip, would just to be realistic, both for you and that other person.
Do you take in consideration some things that you just absolutely will not?
Hell yeah, that don't change.
Right. So it's some things that you want that person to meet, but just not material. It doesn't have to be materialized.
Right. And also, too, that goes into my second tip, is that you have to prioritize your values, right? Or is that person kind? Does that person, and again, values are going to be different for me than they are for you. For somebody, it might be, I'm not dating somebody who doesn't have his or her own car.
Right.
And for somebody else, like, who gives a shit, So what's important to me, for instance, I hate rudeness.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand people who are rude to people or who look down their noses at people, right? That wouldn't work for me. So for me, that would be high on that list of things that I don't want to be associated with. Now, can a person have a lot of good qualities and then turns out they're rude? Well, then you have to make a decision as to whether or not that's something you can live with. Again, you are prioritizing your value.
Because that might be a big percent of you saying like,
For me, that's high up on the list. Somebody else might say, well, he good to me. I don't care how he talk to everybody else. Yeah, he be calling my mama a bitch and stuff. But, it's like, no, right? But again, that's that person. Somebody else might say, if this person is not employed or if this person does not have their own house, you could be employed and still live in your mama's basement.
Yeah, that's true.
You could not be employed and own your own house, whatever. You know what I mean? So and if employment is important to you, then you would just prioritize that in a different way, in a way that's at the top of your list.
That makes sense.
So
age, dating at a certain age range, you think you just come a little more relaxed once you've established yourself like,
Well, I don't even know that it's relaxed, because sometimes it can be just the opposite. It can add additional pressure. But I think the whole point is just that you're looking for something different now.
Okay.
And like I said, you then decide, if that person has this, and this, what's at the top of the list for you? Like I said, at 20, it was good that he had a car because, hey, I just wanted to roll and, drink a little and have a good time. We listen to music, his bass so loud you can't even hear what each other's saying in the car or whatever, Well, shit, when you get my age, you be like, turn that shit down some. I can't hear,
Right.
So, by the way, I was never one of the loud music people. So, but anyway, you prioritize based on what it is that you need out of a relationship. Every person won't think about that the same way. So,
yeah. That kind of makes me think of what I prioritize now at my age. I mean, I'm married, but
here's the thing. When we talk about dating and relationships, that includes marriages too, because there are things that you want out of life as well, right? And Jordan, I know you hear me. If there's some shit that Jordan ain't doing, that's something you guys might have to have a conversation about or whatever. But that doesn't mean that you have to, we signed that paper, so I guess I'm stuck with the fact that he ... Right?
Yeah.
So there's still going to be room for growth, just like you don't stop dating once you're married, right? You continue to invest in each other, you continue to build each other up, and so on. So
I think that's important. A lot of communication of likes, not likes, things like that, because that's important. And like you said, it just helps grow the relationship that much more.
And when you get older, and as I say, you prioritize things differently. When you were younger, it was like, hey, he or she, I'm looking for somebody with a nice body. They got to be fine. They got to this. You get to a certain age, bring your ugly ass on over here. Because he's thoughtful, kind.
Cares about you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, whereas, 20 years ago, you were infatuated with the nice looking person who's an asshole.
Right.
And treats everybody like crap.
Has your priorities fucked.
Right. So, and then, the same way, everybody always throws it in women's faces, well, what you gonna do when, your titties start sagging? You got to do whatever. You have to pull from well, same thing with them. When that belly starts to pot,
when that dick can't get up no more.
Ooh, talk about it. Okay. And then you sitting up hiding his blue pills and stuff. So, things are different once you reach a certain age.
You want to be able to rely on those other qualities.
Those other qualities are what will carry you through those years when it ain't popping like it used to be, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna hopefully reach a point where sex or how that person looks just falls down to the bottom of the list because there's so many more important things. Men will reach a point where, before it was all about, oh, this person fine or whatever. But then it's like, oh, she cooked some good dressing or something, So that becomes something maybe more important than for that person. But if you are stuck in the same place you were in 20 years ago, that's a problem. You got 55-year-old rapper syndrome. So,
what is called?
Right. 55-year-old rapper syndrome
For
when
real.
you trying to launch your career.
Cause stop putting that shit on my Facebook wall. I'm tired of seeing that shit.
Those highlights.
So annoying.
Oh my God. So again, we want to make sure that we are prioritizing our values. Okay. Another thing is for those folks who are single and struggling to find somebody, where do you find them?
Yeah.
In 1987, I was 10 years old, and I would always hear the older men say stuff like, yeah, you want to find you a good girl, you got to go to church. That's what a good girls. Yeah, you don't want to settle down with one of these old street girls. No,
Right.
You go to church, right? Well, now that we're up in age, where do we find them? Because online dating is the way a ton of people meet each other these days, right? So dating apps, Facebook dating, Match.com, Tinder, what's the game? Grindr.
Catholic Match.
Did you say Catfish?
No, Catholic Match.
Oh, Catholic Match. Okay. What is that? Farmers one? Farmers meet or some shit? I want to be a cowgirl. Whatever.
Yeah.
The hell? Not me. I ain't shuffling pig doo-doo for nobody, all right? But no.
What if you look good in overalls?
Actually, that is so funny that you just said that. Can I say this? Let me think. Yes, this person will never see anything I'm doing. So I did very recently match with somebody. I should show them to you, but anyway, I'll show them to you.
Yeah.
You all can't see this.
See
I am not going to put this.
Your new boo on blast.
No. It definitely not my new boo, because Jimmy did his research and that was not going to work. Let me see. So I meet this guy or start talking to this guy online. We match online. And, I can't just leave it at that. I have to do my research to figure out more about him. Well, he owns a farm up here, but it's not just a farm from this is what I was saying. I wonder if I can say this or not. It's a farm that has like exotic animal, like he sells like peacocks and llamas, and I think they house swans and all this stuff. And then expensive dog breeds, all of those types of things, right?
And why we don't want to match with him, Jimmy?
No, I'm getting there. Good looking, getting older. And he was looking for somebody in their 40s and 50s. He's 60. But this man goes to the gym every day. Excuse me. He goes to the gym every day. And why can I not find it here? And now I'm choking to death. So, very good looking guy. And they also raise horses and all that stuff on this farm. So I started doing my research. Turns out, maybe this is it. Turns out there were so many reports of him scamming people and all of this. I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. So I'll find it, and I'm gonna have to send it to you.
But he ain't scammed you though.
You're silly. Oh,
Like-
there he is. So
now he looked like. Oh, he. Oh, you had.
scrolling,
Did it.
yeah.
He's 60.
Yep, that's what I was saying. He
What the
goes to the
fuck?
gym every day and all that. But sorry, there's some more.
Nah, he look like he beat people. We okay.
He ain't gonna beat me. We ain't worried about that at all.
I know, but still, he.
So, but yeah, that I was like, yeah, we gonna bow out gracefully when we talk about ghosting people. He had to be ghosted because we're not doing that. But yeah, the reports, his rating with the Better Business Bureau was an F. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Oh, so he's like a Tiger King type of motherfucker. He say he got exotic animals and shit.
Yeah, I never saw Tiger King. I remember when everybody was talking about it. That's
Oh my
the
God, yes.
something Karen something. No,
It was good.
Okay, yeah.
If you watch it, then you're gonna be like, oh, okay.
Okay, cool. So where do you meet folks? So like I said, you have online, but when you're a certain age, some folks still appreciate that in-person meeting. So do you go to local bars and, just sit there and wait for somebody to stumble across you or what? I mostly look online because for me, I've said it before, it feels like you're flipping through a catalog and, just build a man and
Right.
wait till you come across the right one. But I was never a, go to the bar and just hang out and meet people. So
Do you think that could be like a downside? Because like even people my age, like my single friends, that I want them to get out there in these streets, and I think maybe it has something to do with like what type of person they are. Because,
I think
like,
it is.
very introvert.
That's what I was about to say. And most people don't think that I'm an introvert, but I'm an introvert. So everybody's like, "No, you're not." Yes, the hell I am. So that's not something that would be my first. Yeah. So I would prefer to eat, or if I did go out, I'm not saying anything to anybody. I'll be sitting there waiting on somebody to pick my big back or something, So, but again, I would say that then the tip is for our third tip then is to explore both online dating and local.
So you're gonna do that?
Establishes. I've been promising a friend of mine that I'm going to do that for some time. So
Let me come with y'all.
oh God. Well, I mean, no, she's in another state. She's encouraging me to get out there and go, just go have dinner at a, bar and grill or whatever and see who you meet and blah, blah, blah. So,
Because it might be fun, it might be exciting, and it's
I know I'll probably enjoy it once I'm there,
mm-hmm.
but I kind of need to build up the momentum and courage to do it. Yeah. And yeah, so it's just not my thing. So another thing when it comes down to as a tip, I would say trust your instincts too. So because you can get yourself into so many people scamming and doing all kinds of weird stuff, So when you do come across somebody, keep that third eye open and try and discern what type of person they are, because you don't want to end up, you see all these things where these folks got taken advantage of by a scam artist or something like that. You don't want that to be you. And you sitting up now, you on TV looking crazy as hell.
Because that can ruin it for people too, because that might happen to them and then they be like, tried it, not gonna do it again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So I definitely would say trust your instincts, and also trust your instincts when it comes down to how to do it. If you don't think you would perform well sitting at a bar, well, I don't want you sitting there looking crazy as hell and scratching and shit, then stick to online, just as we've said in previous episodes, don't catfish people, don't, whatever, let them see the real you and go from there. So,
Yeah.
But yet now you said you have friends who are single. Are those friends out and about, or you just would rather see them? They're just waiting on somebody to fall onto their front porch.
Bitch, stop waiting on that man to, what did you say? Tumble on your front porch.
Okay.
Get outside
Right.
tonight.
If there's going to be some tumbling and stumbling, you need to be out here slipping and falling on some peen, huh? Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but but like you say, it at certain ages is scary because we're not young no more. We got responsibilities. Motherfucker got to work in the morning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, then you going to do it on weekends. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it kind of defer people from even wanting to get into it. So it's just like,
yeah.
If it happens, it happens. But it's like God might be like, okay, well, I'm going to put this person here. You here.
Yeah.
We need to make something happen.
And obviously there are always those sort of things that kind of happen organically. But for the most part, you know, if you've been working at the same place for 20 years, ain't nobody new came through that bitch in 20 years. Well, it might be time to go across the street to that damn bar or whatever. So our last tip, and this is probably the most important one, and it encompasses a lot, is, you know, if you're going to be putting yourself out here to the world saying, hey, or you're just even trying to attract somebody to you, you need to love yourself first.
Very true.
Not everybody does. Not everybody loves themselves.
Yeah, right.
So fix what you need to fix. You know, we go into a lot of things with, you know, a little bit of baggage and all of that, childhood trauma, whatever. Fix you first.
A lot of people don't know how. I think sometimes we hear like the interview with what's her name, Dr. Cheyenne, and the whole Nick Cannon and Cam Newton thing. She was talking about how she did the work and she worked on herself. But what does that look like? If I'm say, for instance, I'm a single person, I've had all of this fucked up shit happen to me. I've had childhood trauma. I've had all of these failed relationships. What steps do I take? Is it like you wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm finna go find myself? Like, what is that in detail? You know what I mean? Like, and I know it looks different for everybody, but what steps do you take to even get on that path?
I would say, first and foremost, for starters, admit that maybe things are not quite the way they should be for your life or whatever. I think that will be the first step into making the decision to correct it. Another thing is stop putting stuff off, like that diet you've been going on for ever or whatever, and I'm going to start right after Thanksgiving. Nope. If you're serious about it, your ass will start now. Right. Or whatever. Right. So I think that you just have to, back to number one, be realistic with yourself about what's going on with you. But that emotional baggage that you're bringing into a relationship that's hindering you from doing better. Because we will attach our stuff onto a new person, and we will drag stuff in from the last relationship. Now we got trust issues with this person, or so on. So, but another thing is, quit telling your business to all your little ugly ass friends.
That's very true.
First of all your friends can't handle your business, right? And there is help. You know, particularly in our community, we've shunned therapy and stuff like that so much that it doesn't seem like that's the first resort. That's always like the last resort after you've gone off the deep end and, you know, tried to run somebody over with your car or whatever. Now all of a sudden you realize, maybe I do need a little therapy, right? So I would say, get the help that you need, and not always just, having a good girlfriend that you can talk to about whatever is great. If that's a person who can be objective, who can listen to what it is that you're going to without judging you, without judging the other person. A lot of times we really just want to vent and, you know, have our friend to agree with us or whatever. And yes, you get your amen corner and yeah, you deserve better and all of that stuff. And we can't stand him and whatever.
Right.
And then you and homie make up 2 weeks later. Now she's sitting over here still hating him or whatever, right? So everybody now at the damn family reunion looking crazy. So,
I think that grows though, because I think like my good Judys that I have around me, hey, good Judys, but
hey, y'all.
Right. We hold each other accountable for shit. Like, and I think that's what make it so good, because we're not just telling each other, our relationship problems for you to agree with me.
Yeah.
Like, bitch, I'm telling you because I want to fix this.
Right.
This is the person I love. And, and people will call you out on your shit. Because 9 times out of 10, when you're wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? But sometimes you just might, at that heat of the moment, you might not have saw it from that perspective. So when you call up that friend, but not everybody has those type of friends.
Right.
Not everybody has a family around them
and
for
those
that.
friends need to be able to be objective and say, okay, I see. Because sometimes they need to tell you that the problem is you.
Yeah.
So.
And they might be going through the same thing. And like you say, we don't run to, getting therapy or getting counseling first. Sometimes, and I think like in the Black community, like our friends and our family are, our first source of, our first resources. But depending on the people that you have around you, it can help you or hurt you.
Right. And then y'all go run into y'all pastors. And you got to censor yourself on what the problem is, because you sure can't go into church house unmarried and tell the pastor that the problem is he can't last more than 2 minutes.
We done went from 5 to 2. Junior.
Right.
Last week it was 5.
Right. So, it is what it is. But I think that you need to get the help that you need in order to, if you don't love yourself first. What did you say?
How in the hell you gonna love anybody else?
There we go. All right. So what else? Anything to add, Holly, to our 5 tips? So the 5 tips that we discussed, we said be realistic, prioritize your values,
right?
Explore online and local in-person venues to find your Mr. or Mrs. Right. And then trust your instincts when you do come across people, because you just never know. Listen, people can come out of some strange bags on you, and you just never know on what that's going to be. I've said it before. I will say it again. People can hide a drug habit for a year or 2. So
talk about it.
And then finally, love yourself first. Love yourself so that you can love other people. Love yourself enough that if something is not going right, you can get on out of it. Love yourself so that you heal from the pains of the past, what that last boyfriend did with you, what your mama did when you were 6, what your daddy did, and all of this, right? So you want to be able to get through all of those issues before you. And if you're at the point where you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, well, it's time to resolve, stuff that happened when you were 12.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my take, and that's kind of.
And laugh. I think sometimes we go through our darkest moments and we just, I'm a laugh. I'm a joke. I'm a joke about it.
And I think that some people have that thing where you can find the humor in a situation or whatever. I'm not gonna tell the story anyway. So
y'all want the story? We're not gonna tell the story?
We're not gonna tell this one because this.
See you laughing. I want to laugh.
I know, but it was at a funeral, so I can't do it.
Oh, that make it even better.
I know, but yeah, there's some folks who would be impacted by that if I said it out loud here. So,
and remember, you that girl, that girl, or you that man, right? Like, cause who?
Cause why?
Cause what?
Why not?
Oh, who they thought they was playing with, friend?
Ho. Anyway. All right, so this was a quick episode of the Undateable Me podcast. Again, we were talking about 5 tips for dating as you get older. So I want to thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. And once again, thank you, Holly DaBeamer, for hanging out with us today. All right, we'll catch you next time.